Hey guys, Matthew here. So today I'll be bringing you episode 2 of the BTB series. In this episode, we're actually going to talk about something that is fairly known amongst the people who play the game quite a bit, uh, but definitely something maybe not like the last video where it was like very low investment. This one you might actually have to invest a little bit more. Once again, I'm just going to show you one example, but I'm going to show you basically how to go from it from A to Z, and afterwards you guys can take this example and apply it to many different ones that you can find by yourself, and go from there to make a lot of currency. I'm going to take one because I don't want to like spoil anything. I'm going to take one that most people actually know about, but that is still like super profitable. If you have the initial currency to do it. Obviously, though, it might be a little bit less accessible to a lot of the player base because you do need quite a bit of currency. But trust me, there's a ton of other ones that you could be doing that would be just as good, maybe even better, but maybe just not as much profit every single time, like in one go. But you could go with volume instead of going for like huge currency in one trade. Anyway, so let's get into it. I'm obviously talking about, as you can see, Helmet Enchants, and I'm going to be talking about chancing uniques, chancing items into uniques, and the different methods you can go about it, and basically we're going to go from there. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Tornado Shot fires an additional projectile. As you can see, it's a 2 Exalt enchant, so it's one of the most expensive enchant in the game currently, anyways, in Blight League. So if I go on the builds, right, and I type in Tornado Shot, I'm going to be able to see all the people playing Tornado Shot. And if I do that and I look into the items that these people who are playing Tornado Shots are using, as you can see, a lot of people using Dying Sun, Lionized Fall, Watcher's Eye. None of this applies because they're not helmets. But as you can see, if I scroll down a little bit, Fractal Thoughts is a helmet, and 24% of the people are actually using Fractal Thoughts. And as you can see, Fractal Thoughts is this helmet for the critical strike multiplier of dexterity is higher than intelligence, but then there's also dexterity of strength is higher than intelligence, and 1% elemental damage per 10 dexterity, and life per 10 intelligence, which nobody really cares about. But it's the dex stacking helmet, which gives you insane amounts of damage. So the thing is, this is a vol mask, right? So another thing you'd have to verify is if there are multiple vol masks that are possible to chance into uniques. In terms of Path of Exile, there's only 2 vol masks that are uniques. There's the Fractal Thoughts, and the other one is the Vertex. The thing is, the Vertex is a boss drop, so you don't have to worry about the Vertex because you cannot chance into it. If you're doing other helmets, for example, if you're doing Devotos, because Devotos have way more enchants that would be worth a lot on them. The thing is, you could also chance into like a Bringer of Rain, and if you did that, depending on the enchant, you could completely, break your entire investments. So it's like a 50-50, but Devotos is just very cheap this league, so at the same time, you're not losing a whole lot depending on how much the enchant is worth on the item. But like I said, I'm not here to tell you guys exactly like chance this item, and this enchant, and this enchant. I'm just going to give you one example, and then it's your job to go out and look into the helmet enchants, do exactly what I did here. You type in whatever skill you see. So for example, you could do Volatile Dead, you could do Scourge Arrow, you could do Cobra Lash, and see if these people using these skills are using certain specific helmets, like uniques, and if they are, if you can chance into them, and so on. Do the proper research, basically. Anyway, so let's keep going. So if I go on PoE trade, as you can see, a shaped vol mask. So we're going to go shaped just because there's no real reason not to. It's not any more expensive or less expensive, to be honest. It's still super cheap. So in Blight League, currently a vol mask, and that is shaped, is, as you can see, there's one for 5C, there's one for 10C, one for 30C. I guess they're starting to be a little bit more expensive at this point, but you could always just do no, not shaped, and then they'd probably be very, very cheap. Yeah, like an alchemy for a Vol mask. Then let's look at the price of a Vol mask with our enchant that we want on it. So as you can see, there's only one up right now for sale, and it's 70 exalts. And I can tell you, if you wanted to right now, and if you had 70 exalts, you could buy this and make really, really good profit off of it. Because this is 70 exalts, right? Now let's look at if I was to chance into a Fractal Thoughts, right? If I was to chance into a Fractal Thoughts with the enchant Tornado Shot fires an additional projectile, as you can see, it's 84 exalts. So we go from 70 to 84. So that alone is 14x profit. But there's actually only two of them, and this one is actually 100 exalts. So that's even better, because 100 exalts it would be like a 30x profit margin, right? You go from 70 to 100. That's big. The thing is, you have to chance into it. And because this is a league where we have access to Nemesis, so we can chance Headhunters. Scours are not super expensive, but more expensive, a lot more expensive than, say, like in Legion. But they're still very affordable. And since Fractal Thoughts is not a T1 unique by any stretch of the imagination, it's a pretty common unique. Chancing into one with Chance Orbs and Scours is not that hard at all. But if you wanted to do something else instead, you could also use the Trash to Treasure Prophecy. So as you can see, this one would cost you maybe like 7 to 8x or something. And what this does is it'll turn a normal item into a unique with a single Chance Orb. The thing is, you have to be careful when using these, because if your item can chance into multiple different uniques, you have a chance of completely, like I said, bricking your investment. The thing about Val Mask, though, is that's impossible. There's only Fractal Thoughts. That's the only Val Mask that you can chance into. So, for example, if you bought this for 70x, sold it for 84, we're talking about 14x profit, minus 7, minus 8, let's just say minus 8, it'd be 6 exalts profit, right? But if you sold it for 100x, then it's like 22 exalts profit. So, still pretty good. Now, if we apply the same thing here with Trash to Treasure. Trash to Treasure is a prophecy, but it also has a divination card, and the divination card, the Iron Bard, is actually a set of 9, and it goes for about 125, 130, 135C or so, right? So what you could do is just buy 9 of these cards for 135C, or maybe even put buy orders for like 125C or something. And I did the math. You could get your Trash to Treasure Prophecy for 6.6x instead of 7.5, 7.6 or whatever, 8x. So you'd save yourself an exalt right there by actually buying the cards to complete the set. Now there's another way you could go about this, and it's to actually instead of buying the 70x helmet, right, the Val Mask with the Tornado Shot, you could just buy enchanted fossils. So here I'm looking for enchanted fossils in minimum stocks of 20, which means 20 minimum. And it seems like they're about 13 to 15, 17x or so. I did the math with 13 chaos each, which might be a little bit low, but the thing is, you can put buy orders for these, like 10 at a time, for 130C, and you'll have a fair bit of people coming over to you to sell them. So at 13C each, given the fact that, there's about 600 Lamb Enchants or so, 13C each, 13C each, we're looking at 7,800 chaos. To actually hit the enchant that we want. If we divide that by 185 chaos for each exalt right now, currently, it's only 42 exalt. Which means that if you wanted to spam enchanted fossils into superior Vol masks alone, right there, you can make, like, as you can see, from selling it for 70x and buying it for 42. Essentially, that's an average. So sometimes it's going to be over 70x, but sometimes you might chance one or enchant fossil one within like 10 exalts worth of worth of enchanted fossils. So obviously, so long as there's supply, and like I said, if you put yourself a buy order, chances are you'll be able to buy quite a few of these. So now if we go back from the start, we're looking at 42 Exalt instead of 70x to buy this, right? To get a superior or Vol Mask with Tornado Shot. The thing is also, a thing to note is that Vol Masks, there's not, or well, the Fractal Thoughts, there's not just the Tornado Shot enchant that's worth something. If you hit something like Scourge Arrow, if you hit something like Kinetic Blast, there's a lot of different enchants that will be worth a lot as well. This is just like the jackpot one that I'm talking about here, but there's multiple enchants, multiple enchants that you could also hit that would net you enough to basically keep you going in this like never-ending wheel until you hit the jackpot. And if you hit something like KB, for example, that's also going to be a like really good profit, just not as much. And you wouldn't be making your money back at that point. You'd actually be making a lot more than your money back. Obviously, though, like I said, it's a little bit tedious. You know, buying 600 of these is going to take a while. But the thing is, if you're patient with it, if you put a buy order in, then you know it's actually reasonable to say that you can buy like 600 of these fossils like every day, or close to every day, maybe every 2 days. So if we go back to this, sorry, not this. If we go back to this, this is worth 70x at the very least. There's only 2 lists, as you can see. This is worth 70x, but you can get it for 42x if you use enchanted fossils on average. Then you can chance it for 6.5x with the Trash to Treasure if you buy the cards by yourself. So your investment is 48 Exalts, and you can sell it for 84. And this guy's AFK, who knows? There's only 2 of them up. The other one's at 100. If we look at any, maybe there's more. Okay, 65, 68, 70, lots, quite a few of them for like 70, 75, goes up to 80, 90, and so on. I'm guessing the actual roll on it matters as well. Still though, let's just call it 70x, because I know they can sell for 70x. I sold one for 70x last night. So this minus 70 Exalts, you'd be looking at like a 20x profit if you did it yourself. And then if you're patient with it and you wait a little bit, they will keep going up. Like they reached over a mirror last week. They will keep going up, and chances you can sell them for like the 80x mark if somebody doesn't want to be patient and doesn't look offline and just wants it right now. Then you're adding yourself another like 10, 20x on top of this. So there is a lot of profit to be made. And just to prove my point also, Scourge Arrow. Let's look at Scourge Arrow. So Scourge Arrow, if you were to hit Scourge Arrow, that would be 20x, right? What if you were to hit Kinetic Blast? Kinetic Blast. Oops. Kinetic Blast. 75% chance. Alright, those are 20x as well. And those will keep going up, by the way, because our Delver is actually using this, so they're going to keep skyrocketing. They're probably going to be around this 50x mark within a week or so. So that's another like super huge profit. And there are other things that you could also hit on a fractal that are maybe a little bit lesser, like not quite as huge as the 3 I just showed, but still good profit. And like I said, since this isn't like a T1 unique, you can also chance scour it if you have the patience to do that, and you'd make even more profit there, because the Trash to Treasure for 6.5x is pretty insane. Like if I was to look at how many scours I can get for an Exalt, wait, oh, this is a big meme. I guess nobody's doing that. Alright, let's look for Chaos then. I can get 2 scours for Chaos, 1.75. So, you know, if I'm talking 6.5 Exalts worth of scours, 6.5 times 185 Chaos times 1.75, like, chances are within 2,000 scours, I'm gonna get my Vol Mask into a Fractal Thoughts. Chances are within less than 1,000, I'm gonna get it. So it's gonna be like half the price. So that's the thing basically that I want to get to finish off this video, is that basically when you're doing these things and you're looking up these different methods to make currency and whatnot, the thing is, like, every step of the way, there's different things you can do to save you currency, so that at the end of the line, when you reach the finish goal of your like TS Val Mask, if you've cut if you don't cut corners basically, and you're not lazy about it, and you min max as much as you can, chances are your Val Mask, instead of costing you 70x, you chance it, and you use like you chance it for like 3 exalts worth of scours, and then you buy the base for like 30 Cs, which doesn't even matter. Then you use enchanted fossils. That's going to cost you maybe 40x, or maybe less even. And at that point, you're looking at a 43x helmet that you can sell for 80. So like your profit margin is absolutely massive. The thing is, you gotta be disciplined. You can't cut corners, and that's the same thing for mostly everything in Path. A lot of people say that like you make currency off of people being lazy, and that is very, very true. Like, you can be doing the simplest things in the game, but just because nobody wants to do them, like alt spamming things, for example, you're gonna make a hell of a lot of currency, especially if you're doing something that sells in a lot of volume, but not necessarily a lot of profit per trade, but just a crazy amount of trades. So that's basically it for the video. This one definitely went for longer than I wanted, but I did have a lot to talk about, so that's my excuse. Before leaving, I want to say thank you to my patrons: Jose, Val, Goro, Francesco, Dante, ZzMastermind, Alex, Drool, MT, and Cory. You guys are all freaking awesome. And that's going to be Matthew signing out. Until the next one. Peace.